Hello, everyone. Jane here from Your Way Weight Loss. And today we're talking about school's out. School is about to finish tomorrow, Leash. Hi.
Hi. This makes me want to sing "School's Out for
Four.
Summer."
Mama. What's the, oh my God, people are going to hate me for this, but what's the name of the band that sings that?
It's a rock
I'm not,
band.
it's,
It's a
it
rock
is,
band.
it is for sure a rock band, and it's a popular one as well.
One that my father will be sad I don't know.
Exactly. People are screaming right now.
They're screaming.
They're screaming. Okay. Okay, you guys. So why we want to talk about this is because that changes the game for us. We have small children, we have school age children. So what does that mean for us? And I think that a lot of our listeners do have kids as well. And it changes their routine. And it's almost like its own thing. Summer is its own, I know it's its own season, but it's its own look as well because the kids are there and they have their own plans, but it certainly moves things around, shifts things around.
And even if your kids are, going to daycare because you're still working, you know what I mean, as normal, it still is a different routine. It's a different vibe.
It definitely is. And you have some vacation coming up, and just having the kids not in school is completely different. They're going to go to bed later.
Yeah.
Like all of those things are changing.
It's so true that that'll affect your routine as well. It's so hard right now. I'm like, no, it's nighttime, guys. I promise. And and like the other kids are like playing in the neighborhood. I can hear them, and my kids are like,
Why am I in my bedroom? And why are you saying it's bedtime? I see it with Dia. I see her being ready to go to bed at 8, which hurts my heart. The girl is like, she's always been a really good sleeper. Like she snapped till she was 5. She's always been very okay with going to bed. So I'm kind of shocked that she can manage so well to go to bed at 8 and wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m. and be in such a good mood all day. She's not affected by it. Whereas when she was a baby, she really needed a lot of sleep to be good, I guess, like for her system to properly work.
I know what you mean.
So 8 p.m., I think she's like ready for this summer to be 8 p.m. And it's so light out. And like you said, the neighbors are playing and they're like, can Dia stay till 8? And I'm like, I mean, she's not on her iPad, which right there fills my bucket so much.
I know. But like then it's 8:00. And then by the time they like brush their teeth and that whole giant process. And then when do I go to bed?
I know what you mean. Well, listening to Cat Nat, I mean, not judging, but our kids do go to bed pretty late, like what they say. Like, I mean, it is what it is, right? Everyone does their thing, all good. But I think that's the life we're going into, Leash, with our kids growing up. Like, we're so used to 7 p.m. being our time. And that's I think the advantage to having tiny children is that they actually go to bed at 7 and you have that freedom. But then when they're older, they don't go to bed at 7. But then you have the freedom of not having a baby. Like, so they're not babies anymore. Like they're somewhere from 7 to 8 and you can kind of do your thing still.
Very true.
So, I mean, what do I like to do after they're in bed? I like to move my body. Well, when Dia's 12 and Noah's 8, like they don't care I'm out for my walk. No? Like they'll just figure out their lives and then I'll come back and then put them to bed at whatever time. It's such an interesting concept to me.
I know. I mean, do we think you'll put them to bed still even? You know what I mean? Like you think about it. Like at one point our children will just go to bed when it's time to go to bed. I don't know. That seems weird.
I think we're going to have to be like, oh shit, it's 10 p.m. and you're still up. Like, I think that happens to a lot of people that have teenagers. They're like, what? It's 10 p.m. and you're still up.
I can't even imagine the scene that's going to happen. I'm not ready.
I know. I'm like, I'm not ready, but I'm like, I'm totally just here for the ride.
Yeah. I feel like Dia's already practicing teenagehood.
She very much is. Noah is not. Still very much shitting his pants. And everyone's like, oh, so interesting that he's not potty trained. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's not 7. He's 3. He's not even 3. I'm like, I feel like it's like, he's not the only one. Like, it can't be that bad. Anyways, I'm like, oh, I actually find it very not interesting. And just, he's going to figure this out. Like,
what's the plan for that? Are you just going to like wait until he tells you or?
Pretty much.
There you
So I think we all think our own children are intelligent. I think he's intelligent. And I think he understands obviously all of the things. He knows that mama pees in a toilet. Like he knows that. He knows
Well, yeah.
that that's where he's going to pee one day. Like he knows all of that. He tells me after it's done, like, mama, toilette, fa pipi. And his diaper's warm. I'm like, you just peed. Like, I know you just peed. And that's his signal to be like, oh, I know that I could have peed in the toilet. He actually pees in a cup before going into the bath.
Okay.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Because he always pees in the bath every single time. So I'm like, you know what? And then I have to change the water.
So annoying.
The minute I put his feet in the water, you know what it does? Like it makes you want to go pee, right? So basically, I put his feet in the water, and then I'm like, "Okay, tu vas faire pipi dans la cup," and he pees in the cup. So like he knows he knows what's happening. And then I just put the pee in the toilet. Perfect. But sitting him on the toilet, he will not pee.
Oh my goodness.
Because he's not like he doesn't have to, but putting his feet in the bath, that makes him want to go.
So you just need to like carry around like a warm like a
like a bowl or whatever. Yeah.
And just put his feet in it.
Like a basket.
Oh my god.
That's funny. So I did ask the daycare people, love his daycare women that work there. And I mean, they've been in the daycare industry for like 20 years, right? So I'm like, what are your thoughts on Noah? You know him more than me. Do you think he's ready? Like, does he ask to go during the day? Like when you think of our kids being at school and daycare, like most of their hours are spent not with us, you know? So it's like most of his hours are spent at daycare. They know him well, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he's also surrounded with people his age. So I'm like, does he want to go? Does he ask to go? Because he sees people that are fully potty trained, right? Because he's in that group now. Before he was in a group of everyone's in diapers.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's like, I think the only one in diapers in his group because he's the youngest one, right?
Right.
Anyways, all good. So he sees the others ask to go pee and whatever. And she's like, he certainly knows when he pees and poops because he tells me right away to get changed. So there's that piece that's like good. He knows exactly. Like I told you, he knows all the things. But she said to me, she's like, you know what? How to do it. I'm like, I want to try this summer, but like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I didn't do it for Dia. Like she just like did it herself. So I'm like, meh. And then she said, she said, I think that what you need to do is you need to make sure that he's ready. And I'm like, how do I know he's ready? She's like, basically you try for two days, strong 2 days.
Yeah.
And if it's a mess, if it was just a battle and he's crying and whatever, that's his sign that he's not ready. You let it go and you wait a little bit. I was like, okay, I like that plan. I can give 2 days.
Oh, I remember. That's what I did too. I gave 2 days.
It's the battling I don't want because I don't care enough for the battling. And that's the issue, right?
I also like flooded them. So I gave them tons of juice and my kids don't normally have juice. So they like chugged it. So I basically like increased their chances of success. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because instead of them having to pee only every couple of hours, then they have to pee like quite often. So, and I would put them on the potty like every 30 minutes. And if they didn't go 30 minutes, I would literally go put 5 more minutes, like until something, you know what I mean?
I like all of this. There's so much data.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, you see what I mean? You were talking and I got all goosebumpy and like super excited about it.
I mean,
like it's like 30 minutes and he's still dry. Awesome. Like I like success, you know?
It's one of those things as a parent that I really didn't enjoy though. And it's actually annoying for a very long time because it's not like you potty train them in 2 days and then it's over. There's accidents. It's different teaching them how to pee at your house. Then they have to go pee somewhere else. Like when you go out, you need to change your clothes.
Everything about having that age.
So sorry.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And I will just only give it the effort I want to give, like I do everything else.
I love it. Okay, so besides potty training Noah, what things do you think about having the kids more or having a different routine or the kids staying up later? What do you think obstacles that's going to bring to your journey?
Great question. And obviously I want you to share as well after when I'm done. But like for me, it's less time. Like we have a very flexible schedule and not having the kids here allows us to move our bodies whenever we kind of want during our work day, but we can work at night. Like we're very flexible with our work time. So less time because I have to I can't not that I can't move my body if they're here, because I could bring Noah with me, but I hate pushing a stroller while I'm walking. Like I actually really like to do that on my own.
It's also a different experience when you're with them. Like when you're not with them, you know what I mean? When they're not in the stroller, you don't have to think, are they hot? Are they cold? Are they tired? Are they hungry? It's just like, it's just you. It's just
Okay,
about
thank
you.
you for understanding, because it's
Oh
not
my
the
gosh.
physical load of having him, it's the mental load of having him on my walk.
Oh my gosh. When I leave my home and I am alone, I like literally, it's like the second I breathe that fresh air and I'm alone, that's important as a mother.
Yeah. So there's that piece, but then I'm like, Jose, you rocked it last summer, moved so much. So I think our need is so high. Well, we're obviously going to talk about that, but I think, okay, if I want to go straight and just say logistically, what does it mean? It means less time.
Yeah.
And it means more triggers.
Yes.
For me, like,
Yeah.
I think more snacking, it changes the whole game. Like it's actually quite a big deal. Like summer is actually quite a shift in our routine. Like it's quite different.
Yeah, big time. For me too, I will have less time alone, I should say.
Yep.
Now I have a husband who is home. So actually I can still leave, but I still need to work on my mom guilt because I struggle to leave for 2 hours to exercise. I feel guilty. It's so funny. I don't feel guilty when I go for a walk, but if I was to leave to go to the gym, I would feel guilty.
I know what you mean.
I must say though, my guilt is getting so much better. They're getting older and they can play in the neighborhood now too. So like, I'm like, they're not even home. They don't even know where I am. Like,
Yeah.
So I realize that it's going to be okay.
Absolutely. Like I think it's the experience, right? Of doing it. And then you're like, wow, everyone survives and they still love me.
And I must say that one thing that's really helped my mom guilt is to really make sure I am spending quality, purposeful time with each kid that day. Like yesterday, I spent like time with Alfie sorting his Lego, and then Piper and I made muffins, and Phoebe and I did this. And then I felt totally happy to leave for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
No guilt.
Yeah. See, I still have no one napping, so that's always like a prime time I don't feel guilty a lot with just Dia because she's so easy and she can just I'm like, go to grandma's because my mom lives right next door. Jeff is also going to work from home a lot. So like, just like,
Nice.
and we have a pool. So she can just like go, so the days that I have both of them, that's how I will move my body. But I am thinking ahead about like Dia loves Zumba classes. So I'm like, that could be a way that we both move. Like I both feel like I'm an amazing mom and I'm moving my body at the same time. The friggin' mom, being a mom and wanting to like be a good mom, whatever that means though. It's hard, huh? Like,
Yep.
It's like I feel you.
It's a lot.
It's a
So
lot.
yeah, we're going to have similar obstacles. So asking for help. So you have
like
your
that.
mom.
Yeah,
You
asking for help.
also have, hired someone that's more to get work done, but I'm sure you'll move your body on a day that Dia is being taken care of. So if you guys have someone that you can ask for help, maybe another mom that you could tag team. Like, could you take my kids for an hour and I'll take your kids for an hour? You know what I mean? There's people that are willing to help. Find different times. Like you're going to have to maybe think outside the box. Maybe a morning walk. Do you know what I mean? While everyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
And one more thing is, like you said, the way to include them. So find a way to move your body that does include them, like Zumba, or even like the little morning walks I do with my family and night walks I do with my family. They're about 2 kilometers. And of course, we're walking so slow, but that adds up. If I do that every day, that is adding to my step count big time.
Absolutely. And I think that we're under, like, it is time for you to value your needs. Like every little thing will count this summer. So if you're going to be more active just naturally because you're going to be more on the go. So, and that does matter. Like that does count. And I think that the asking for help is one thing that I'm like, yes, put that on your list, mamas, that you need to ask for help this summer because you might have the kids home. But also it's going to probably be a shift in your routine in terms of like, I'm thinking of when I eat right now and how I eat and kind of how that's working for me, AKA my system.
Yeah.
Like what's the system that's in place right now to run Jose's life is going to have to, I'm going to have to make adjustments because if I want to fit in a morning walk, I like to feel I like to have food in my belly for my walks. So right now I usually don't eat in the morning because I don't do that. I don't go for a walk. I go right after lunch. So, and there's also the heat to think about. Like if it's really
Yeah.
warm, are you going to go for a walk at 3 p.m. right in the middle of the heat? There's also activities to think of. Are you going to the beach today? When are you going to fit all of that? So there's a lot. And I think the best way to do it is day by day with the kids,
Day by
like
day.
legit day by day.
And just take advantage of the days where it is easier for you to
Yeah.
sneak away and have some time, maybe get a good long walk in those days and not stress about the days that you can't.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's the days where both of them are going to be taking care of. Noah's at daycare. Dia, I hired the cute little sitter next door. So just to like play with her, basically, I'm
Yeah.
like, can you? So it was like a mix of just making sure that I'm caught up on work, but as well, I have that time where some days, maybe twice a week, I do feel like it's about me. Like I have a
Yeah.
summer as well, and it's not just like school's out, so now you're a mom. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm excited, to be honest. I'm excited to have her and Noah more at home. I'm excited to spend time doing summer fun things with them and without them. And I think we all feel that same way. And then by August, we're like, goodbye.
Bye. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about is the kid bites. Okay.
Okay,
So
let's talk about that.
you're a pretty hardcore kid biter. I certainly was, and I've very much worked on that habit, and that is not a giant struggle for me. However, I am faced with it more often, right? Because they're there. So I'm cooking them breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, like every single 5 seconds someone is eating something. So that I think most moms that are listening to this podcast can relate to the mom bites.
You know what I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking about all of our amazing duos and how like the summer food meeting that's coming out, I think in a couple of weeks or next week or whatever, is just epic. And you guys, like right now, we're actually within the last like few days of our summer membership. After that, it's done this Sunday on the 27th, you guys. So if you're listening to this and you're like, man, yeah, like those bites, or how am I going to like find ways to, I guess, do all the things without gaining all the weight, you should really consider joining us for our summer membership. It's $99 for 10 weeks, and you'll have access to our content, our words, our fun for the next 10 weeks. And I'm just thinking about how there's no magic. The kid, like the stuff is going to be there, but how we talked about like packaged foods and how people don't even recognize how they're grabbing from a big bag. And if the bag was just already packaged, they wouldn't grab as much. Like it's just tiny little tweaks of how they do things. It's not about not having what's a typical kid snack, like the petits fishies, or like crackers, whatever. Like
Goldfish.
Those are the typical goldfish,
Yeah.
okay? And imagine if you had the big bag versus like, okay, Noah, this is your container of goldfish.
Yeah.
Dia, this is that stops you from eating the goldfish instead of just bringing the bag and just dropping some off in a container, and then your hand goes in it. It's tiny little tweaks to how you do things can really stop you from eating mindless calories.
Absolutely. And when you join, you get access to all of our old meetings as well. And if that is a habit that you need to work on, going back and watching our habit meetings, which we focused on from like January till April of this year, would be amazing, because that was a very deep rooted habit for me. And eliminating that was huge for me and my progress. And so I'm not afraid of being around all the kid food, because now I've created a different habit around it. And like you said, it's no magic.
Yeah, it's no magic. And it's also, for me, I still very much have the habit of grabbing their food. For me, I worked on the labeling. Like, who cares if you ate 4 fishies? Like nothing happened, So the drama behind like, oh crap, I had said I was going to just eat an apple, and then I ate 4 fishies, and it's the end of the world. And then we eat the whole bag, and just like that drama. So for me, that's more the part that allowed me success, is not really obviously why do I have less fishies than usually? It's because my mindset is like, no drama. You can have fishies. And the fact that I can have them, sometimes I don't even like go for it. You know what I mean?
Love that. Yeah. You're using your knowledge behind calorie deficit as well as your knowledge behind good versus bad food, right? So those two things eliminate so much of the noise and so much of the drama, so that when you do take a handful of fishies, which you will, you're not like, oh my God, I ruined my diet. I'm going to eat the whole bag. Might as well start over Monday.
Yeah. So basically what we're trying to say is that we also have children. And so I think this podcast was more geared towards, I guess, moms that their routine is going to change because their kids are home or whatever,
Yeah.
or they're at daycare. Just it's summer and you have children. Basically, this is for you, okay?
Yeah.
So it really does change a lot for you to have extra humans that are around, and that there's just their routine is different. The minute your kid's routine is different, it means your routine is different.
Mhm.
Like if your kids added 2 dance classes, that it's your kid's routine is different. But vraiment c'est toi là. Like you have to figure out driving, you have to figure out getting them there. Like tomorrow night, Dia had summer dance classes every Tuesday. She didn't have that before on Tuesday evenings. So that was like, okay, well, since she has that in Moncton, I could go walk on Tuesday evenings instead. While she's in dance class, I can fit in a walk. So that really in the end changes my routine. So the minute you've made humans that apparently you're responsible for, and the minute their routine changes, aka there is no more school, now they're going to daycare or now they're at home, that changes your routine. And I think you would be not being honest with yourself if you're like, oh, it doesn't really change anything. It does. It really does. The minute their routine is different, it changes yours. So you guys, you need to ask for help. And Dia doesn't have daycare. She didn't want to go to daycare. And I was like, okay, how can I kind of feed her, I guess, her wants or what she wants out of this? And she loves playing with the neighbor. And I'm like, you know what? If she wants to come and watch her 2 days a week, and really watching her is playing with her, right? I'm okay with that. I really wouldn't mind having her entertained by the neighbor, So that's me asking for help, and the kid, we are going to have to deal with kid bites. We're going to have to adjust our schedule. When are we going to move our bodies? When will be our first meal, right? According to what we want to do. Like, I think all of that is going to change, but it doesn't have to be this thing that is changed for all of summer. Sometimes it's like today. Okay, today, what happens today? Well, both kids are gone. What does that mean?
All the coffee.
I like the sound of that. More coffee. Exactly. No, vraiment.
Yeah.
More coffee, more water, walk when you want. I'm telling you, we don't walk every day at the same time.
No.
But we do walk every day.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that you said, like, with Dia's dance, and you're like, okay, I could walk. Like, guys, we need to get creative here, and we need to think of like pockets of time. Sometimes we think we don't have enough time to do something if we only have 40 minutes. You can do a lot in 40 minutes. So really this summer, with the kids home and your routine being changed, look for those little pockets of time that you can accomplish something.
And guys, like, and not obviously if someone's listening and they're in Dia's class, a dance class, but I mean, we all park there, all the parents, and Jeff and I are the only ones that I saw with my eyes. Maybe some people leave before me or whatever, that go for a walk during that hour. Like, we leave and go for a walk, and most of them sit and they're on their phone. And I'm sure if they're like, oh, did you move your body? No, I didn't have time. My child had dance, and then I needed to do the grocery and whatever. Well, we take advantage of that 1 hour where we actually ask for help for Noah. Hey, can we drop you off, Noah? So that Jeff and I can have 1 hour of talking. Obviously, it's just Jose talking.
I was going to say 59 minutes of Jose and 1 minute of Jeff.
So that we can, because we love that time of moving our bodies together. That's like an activity that we that we like to do, walking together. So that's us kind of shifting our system. When she has dance and when she doesn't have dance, we do something else to be able to move our bodies.
I love it. And I want to say one last thing, guys, with as far as the kid bite things, I want you guys to really think about who you're buying this food for. And if you really struggle with the salt and vinegar fishies, because they're delicious, if you haven't tried them, don't buy
Kate ones.
Oh, gross. Stop.
Oh, you must hate the sugar. It must taste too fake for you.
Yes, absolutely not.
Okay, no, I would eat all the bag.
So know yourself enough to who am I buying these snacks for? Like,
great reminder.
There's a way that you can feed your kids and have those kid-like food around without just putting yourself in the temptation island all the time. So really think before you purchase something at the grocery store, because if it's not in your home, you're not going to eat it. Okay?
I'm just like upping the roof with this one, Leash. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm like, it's like fist pumping.
Yeah.
I completely agree because I do think that some people like, and this comes back to like, people think that they have more willpower than another person or less willpower or less, what's the word that was used in James Clear's book, willpower and discipline.
Yeah.
And it's not about discipline. It's that we are not often in triggering situations. And I don't think that the society and the humans and the moms are taking enough time to recognize that they put themselves in triggering situations because they do have children that like fishies, but the children will not notice if the fishies aren't here and you purchase something else that they like as much that you don't like as much, you know?
Absolutely. And it's not that you can never have fishies in your home ever again, but just sometimes we
Yeah.
need to use these strategies. And yeah, that was
Yeah.
an amazing point that we had in our habits duos was that
Yeah.
the people that are most successful do not have the most willpower. They use their willpower the least because they set up their environment for success.
Bam.
Bam.
And you should set up your environment by joining Your Way Weight Loss. You guys, so 10 weeks, $99, ends this Sunday. So you have 3 days left. Go find us on Instagram. The link is right there. This is your time to join. It's a perfect moment to take in some content, to enjoy the ride, to listen to what we have to say, to have fun, and to understand what it's like to choose the summer that you want this summer. Okay. So like all of this, share this podcast, tag us, go find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok under Your Way Weight Loss, or join us at yourweightoursupport.com. Bye, everyone.
See ya.